Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the John Campea Show here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an honor and a privilege, as it is every day, to have you guys joining me here as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news and all that kind of good stuff. And listen, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. First of all these reports going around that Chris Evans is actually officially done playing Captain America. Not so true. What can we expect from Emily Blunt in the new Mary Poppins? A few other things along the way as well. But first, before we get to anything else, we want to go off the top with a little bit of sad news. Now, according to reports, Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, Alec Baldwin, Willem Dafoe are all working on a new movie together right now, and they're shooting that film as we speak. Unfortunately, it appears there was a fire on one of the sets that they were shooting on in New York City, and a firefighter, a heroic firefighter, died fighting that fire in New York City. The reports are claiming right now that Edward Norton saw the smoke, reported it to the authorities, and during fighting the blaze, a 15-year firefighting vet lost his life. He received critical injuries. He died later on as a result of the fire. Just an absolute tragic piece of news. And you know, when you hear things like this, it's not just a corny saying that's in, Marine recruiting videos. In our society, in our culture, we are afforded, and something like this reminds us of this, we are afforded the luxury of being able to run away and remove ourselves from danger and dangerous situations as they occur because we have other brave men and women in our society and culture who will run towards it. We are afforded the luxury of removing ourselves and running away from dangerous situations because in our society we have brave men and women who are willing to throw themselves towards it for the benefit of other people. And this is just another tragic example of that, of the bravery of somebody ultimately sacrificing their lives to protect others, to protect people in their community. And, this guy died saving other people, which is just phenomenal. And of course, all thoughts, well wishes go out to friends, families, coworkers of that person. Once again, unfortunately, tragic news today. But apparently, these brave men and women fighting these fires, there were no other casualties reported from what I could read. And that's what these guys do. When we see soldiers, when we see police officers, when we see firefighters, take a second, if you're not too shy, and just thank them for what they do, because they allow us to run from danger because they themselves run towards it. So again, really sad news to start off the day, but inspiring at the same time. What an inspiring story that this guy's legacy he leaves for whatever family he has. Just incredible and bravery. And we thank all the men and women who serve us in our society for being people who run towards the danger. All right, guys, with that out of the way, before we get into the main topics that you guys have emailed in to me, when you watch the John Campea Show, I want to make sure that you guys are caught up to date on everything going on in the world movie news, even if they're not subjects we have time to go a lot into in depth. So this is the little segment we call the Movie News Feed. First up, it looks like we may be getting a new series of female lead spy thriller films. According to Variety, the Dunham Group is now in active development of the property Max Ford as a film, adapted from Sally Fernandez's spy thriller Climatized, with the hopes of launching it into a full-fledged franchise. The story follows loner and former CIA agent Max Ford across the globe as she's plunged into an international conspiracy led by a shadow organization whose influence reaches the highest level of our government. As far as franchise potential goes, Sally Fernandez has just completed her latest novel, The Beekeeper's Secret, which is the second in the Max Ford series. Next up, it looks like that movie about the real-life lawsuit between Hulk Hogan and Gawker is moving forward. According to reports, Modern Family director Jason Winter will helm the new project. From the playlist, the film titled Thiel v. Gawker examines the controversial court case between legendary professional wrestler Hulk Hogan and Gawker, the former gossip/news outlet. The court case originated because Gawker ran an article that shared a sex tape featuring the wrestler without the permission of Hulk Hogan. Hogan then sued Gawker for $100 million, but ended up receiving $115 million plus $25 million in punitive damages. This all led to Gawker filing for bankruptcy before being sold off. To make it more intriguing, it was later revealed that famed venture capitalist and multi-billionaire Peter Thiel had spent $10 million of his own money to help fund the various lawsuits against Gawker, including Hogan's. This war between Peter Thiel and Gawker stems from a 2007 article that Gawker published that publicly outed Thiel as gay. All I can say is, serves him right. Next up, the Hollywood actress who proudly holds the record for longest Hollywood crush of John Campea, Jennifer Garner, has a new action film coming out called Peppermint and just landed a release date of September 7th. Directed by Pierre Morel, who also directed Taken, Peppermint tells the story of a young mother, Riley North, played by Jennifer Garner, who awakens from a coma after her husband and daughter are killed in a brutal attack on the family. When the system frustratingly shields the murderers from justice, Riley sets out to transform herself from citizen to urban guerrilla. Channeling her frustration into personal motivation, she spends years in hiding, honing her mind, body, and spirit to become an unstoppable force, eluding the underworld, the LAPD, and the FBI as she methodically delivers her personal brand of justice. It actually sounds like this could be a much better version of Bruce Willis's recent Death Wish remake. Here's hoping. Call me Jennifer. Next up, Seth Rogen has just announced the lineup for his upcoming Netflix comedy special, Hilarity for Charity. Hilarity for Charity is the name of a movement that Rogen and his wife, Lauren, founded to increase Alzheimer's disease awareness among millennials. They began putting on an annual variety show in Los Angeles in 2013. This is the first year that Netflix has been involved as a presenting sponsor. The star-studded guest lineup on the special includes Sacha Baron Cohen, Sarah Silverman, Girls Trip's Tiffany Haddish, John Mulaney, Nick Kroll, The Muppets, Kumail Nanjiani, Craig Robinson, James Corden, Jeff Goldblum, and many others. Hilarity for Charity will air on Netflix sometime in April. And finally, in a recent interview, actor-writer Simon Pegg, who both wrote and starred in Star Trek Beyond, revealed several things about the current state of Star Trek. He mentioned that while Quentin Tarantino's story idea is being developed into a script for the studio to look at, there are actually several scripts in motion at the moment. Pegg also mentioned that as far as he knows, the Tarantino script probably wouldn't be rated R, but isn't completely sure about that either. This leaves several questions in the air. First of all, is there going to be a new Star Trek film at all? If so, will it be with Tarantino or with another one of the scripts they're looking at? If it is Tarantino's script, would it be rated R or not? Look, all I know is that the most recent film, Star Trek Beyond, was probably the best of the new series, and it's a shame it didn't perform better at the box office. Let's see how this all develops. And that'll do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed. All right, and you guys are now all caught up with what's going on in the world of movie news, so let's dive into the topics and questions that you guys have sent in to me. How do you send in a topic or question? It's simple. Just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put that word topic in the subject line, and as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less. All right, let's get hopping here, and the first question today comes to us from Manny, who writes, do you think it was a mistake for Deadpool to move its release date from June 1st to May 18th? With the success of Black Panther doing so well for 5 weeks straight at the box office, Infinity War is sure to do exceptionally well, if not better than Black Panther. Thoughts? Well, let's take a couple things into consideration here. We don't know that Infinity War will do as well as Black Panther. I mean, we simply don't know if Infinity War is even any good or not. I mean, we all expect it's pretty damn good, but we don't know it's any good, so there's that. The other thing to keep in mind is this. Black Panther faced almost no competition for its first 4 weeks in theater. Like, I think the week after it came out, Annihilation came out, which wasn't going to do anything at the box office. Game Night was going to be a middling film at best. Then as week after week went on, like, there was really no big, stiff competition for it, so it was able to roll pretty easily. I mean, it should have lost to Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider fell on its face domestically, so that didn't happen. So you got to keep that in mind. Right now, though, Deadpool is scheduled to come out on Infinity War's fourth weekend. Fourth weekend. That is not going to be a problem for Deadpool whatsoever. And really, by that point, Infinity War is going to have made the vast lion's share of its money already, so it's not going to pose any problem to Infinity War either. There was some speculation that they actually moved it to the 27th to put a little bit more buffer between them and Deadpool. Now, obviously, Infinity War is going to make more money at the box office than Deadpool is, but still, you don't want Deadpool coming in and scooping up some potential repeat viewings. But look, even if Deadpool was coming out on the third week of Infinity War, I still don't think that would be a problem for them. I still think they'd be okay at that. But on its fourth weekend, it's not going to be an issue. At most, Infinity War is going to make like $45-50 million on its fourth weekend. That's not a problem for Deadpool. That leaves plenty of business for Deadpool. And Deadpool's the type of movie that if people have an option to see, most people have an option to see Infinity War for the third or fourth time, or go see this brand new Deadpool 2 that they haven't seen yet. They're going to pick Deadpool 2. Most people, not all people. Some people, there'll be an exception for sure. And again, it all depends how good Infinity War is. But no, opening on Infinity War's fourth weekend, not a problem at all for Deadpool. I think it'll be just fine. All right, next up. This one comes to us from Kedar Padgur, who writes, "Hey John, big fan. Thank you so much, man. I want to ask your opinion on the Mary Poppins Returns new teaser. Do you think Emily Blunt can bring the same magic again that incredible Julie Andrews brought 54 years ago? Bring on the filthy." And one of the films that has me most fascinated right now is this Mary Poppins Returns. Now, I'll admit, when they first said they were going to be doing this movie, I was like, really? A Mary Poppins? Today? You want to do that today? I mean, and what actress is going to want to even try to step into the shoes of Julie Andrews? I mean, really? But as they start announcing, as they announced Emily Blunt got on, and Emily Blunt is terrific. So, I mean, that's working in its favor. And I quite liked the first couple of little glimpses we've gotten at the movie, including the teaser. But here's the big thing. And I kind of talked about this a little bit on the show the other day. She doesn't need to be as good as Julie Andrews. She doesn't. All she needs to do is be good. If she's good, that's all we need. Look, it's a near impossible task to say, recapture that same magic that the great Julie Andrews gave us in that movie. That's kind of an impossible task. And you've already lost. If you're starting out and you're saying your goal is to be as good as Julie Andrews in Mary Poppins, you've already lost. But that's not the goal. The goal is to be good. And can Emily Blunt be good? Absolutely. Look, if you saw her in that movie Into the Woods, that was a great 3/4 of a movie, then it fell apart in the last act. But anyway, if you watch her in Into the Woods, she can be great in a musical. She can be wonderful. I think she's going to bring us a great new Mary Poppins. Will it be as good as Julie Andrews? Probably not, but it doesn't need to be. Like I say this all the time, every time a new movie comes out, we don't go, well, is it going to be better than The Godfather? Because if it's not better than The Godfather, then it's not worth doing. Of course, no movie that comes out is as good as The Godfather, but they're still great movies. She doesn't have to try to be Julie Andrews. All she's got to do is be the best version of Emily Blunt that she can, playing the character, and if she does, I think it'll be fine. So let's just wait and see for that. All right, let's move on to the main topic today that has got me most interested in talking about. Okay, so this one comes to us from Monica Brownlee, who writes, "Hey, John, I read a whole bunch of headlines today saying that Chris Evans is, quote-unquote, officially finished with the MCU after Avengers 4. However, I took your advice and dug to the source, and all it really says is that his contract is up. What am I missing? Everyone is acting like he's never coming back, but I haven't read anything official like that. Am I missing something?" All right. Thanks a lot for the question, Monica. And this gets to the heart of something that drives me nuts. And you know what? I'm guilty of this. It drives me nuts when I catch myself doing it. It drives me nuts when I catch other websites doing it. It's an easy thing to get caught into. I ain't condemning anybody because guilty. I've done this too. And it drives me crazy when I realize that I've done it. Here's the thing. All these reports started going around yesterday, and all these headlines that, did you hear it's official? It's official. People love using that word official. And to quote Indigo Montoya, I do not think that word means what you think it means, because people keep using it so inappropriate. It's official. Chris Evans is done as Captain America. After Avengers 4, he is done. It's official. I had all these people tweeting me yesterday. John, do you see his reports of 100% official? Chris Evans is done. Blah, 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 blah. All this. And I'm like, really? Well, that's surprising to me. But okay, so I start looking into it. Here's where all of those reports came from. They all came from this one half paragraph in an interview. I believe it was with the New York Times. The New York Times ran a piece on Chris Evans. And this whole thing about Chris Evans officially done, Chris Evans officially done, it all came from this one half paragraph. When you trace it all down, it came from this one thing. And this is what's in that paragraph. This was in the report. For now, he has no plans. This is the New York Times writing about Chris Evans. For now, he has no plans to return to the franchise. You want to get off the train before they push you off, he said, and expects that planned reshoots in the fall will mark the end of his tenure in the familiar red, white, and blue supersuit. Let me read that again. For now, he has no plans to return to the franchise. You want to get off the train before they push you off, he said, and expects that planned reshoots in the fall will mark the end of his tenure in the familiar red, white, and blue supersuit. That is the one statement written by a reporter that has sparked all the headlines. It's official. Chris Evans is done. Here's the thing, though. Nothing in that statement says he's never coming back. Nothing in that statement says that. But here's the other thing that really kills me, is that this statement is really, materially speaking, not at all unlike another statement that Chris Evans himself actually made not so long ago. When Chris Evans was directly asked not long ago, are you ever going to come back to play Captain America after your contract is done? This is what Chris Evans said previously. Chris Evans said this: my contract is up. I'm not going to sit here and say no more. I think Hugh Jackman has made 47 Wolverine movies, and they somehow keep getting better. It's a character I love, and it's a factory that really knows what they're doing. The system is sound over there. They make great movies. If they weren't kicking out quality, I'd have a different opinion, but everything Marvel does seems to be cinema gold. And like I said, I love the character. The only reason it would end is because my contract is up. After Avengers 4, my contract is done. Talk to Marvel. If we engage further, I'd be open to it. So here's the thing. Well, first of all, let's go back to that first sentence again. My contract is up, but I'm not going to sit here and say no more. Here's the thing. This new statement that we get out of the New York Times piece is really no different than that statement we got from Chris Evans before. My contract is up. There's nothing on the books for me to come back and play. I have no plans to come back and play it right now, but I'm totally open to coming back and blah, 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 blah. We are in no different of a situation today than we were a week ago. Because this statement that everybody's making these headlines out of, and I get it, but this statement is really materially no different from the previous statement Chris Evans made, in which he also added, hey, I'm not going to say I'm done. I'm not going to say I'm never coming back. I love this character. I'm open to coming back. But my contract is up. If it ends, it will be because my contract is up, but I'm totally open to coming back. That is no different from this new statement we just got out of the New York Times. But there's two other things I want us to keep in mind here, okay? And by the way, I am not sitting here telling you, be very clear about this. Don't put words in my mouth. I am not sitting here saying Chris Evans is absolutely coming back after Avengers 4. I am not saying that. It is, look, he's played this character a lot. If he wants to retire, and if this is done, if this finishes Chris Evans' run as Captain America, hey, it very well could be. We could see that happen. However, I'm simply saying don't count that out just yet. And there's two other things I want us to keep in mind. Number one is remember the Robert Downey Jr. situation, which was a much worse situation than this. Because the Robert Downey Jr. situation back in the day, I mean, Kevin Feige and Robert Downey Jr. were actually trading shots publicly, trying to negotiate new contracts publicly. It was done. It was wrapped. He was finished. He's not coming back. We heard all this kind of stuff. Negotiations have broken down. It's official. He's not coming, blah, 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 blah. And what happened? They worked it out. He came back. He realized he loves it. He did that other little film, The Judge, that flopped and realized, oh, maybe I'm not as popular outside of the Iron Man role and maybe I should come back, which was a smart decision to do. And, you know, they paid him well and all that kind of stuff. So there's that. But here's the other big thing, all right? Keep this in mind. I cannot emphasize, if you walk away with nothing else from today's show but this one point, then that'll be enough. Catch this important thing. Even if Kevin Feige and Chris Evans had signed a new 5-film deal after Avengers 4, there is no way in hell they would let anybody know about it right now. Why? Because fans would be furious if they announced that Evans was returning, because they would call it a major spoiler for Avengers 3 and 4. Can you imagine how upset people would be if, like yesterday, they announced, hey guys, good news, Chris Evans has signed on for another 3 films after Avengers 3 and 4. People would be pissed. It's like, why announce that now? Because you just basically, this is what people would say. I'm not saying I would say it, but what people would basically say is, you just spoiled Avengers 3 and 4. Because one of the big question marks to all of us is Captain America going to die? I mean, that's one of the big things, is he could die, he could die, he could die. And by coming out and announcing today that he signed on for another 3 films, you just spoiled it. Understand, I'm not saying he has signed on for another 3 or 4 films. All I'm saying is this, is that we are in no different a position today than we were a week ago, because nothing that was in that Time article, that New York Times article, is any different from what we've heard Chris Evans say before. So we're in no different a situation. They're playing it all very close to the vest. We saw another situation like this with Robert Downey Jr., and we saw how that turned out. And on top of all that, even if they are planning for Chris Evans to come back in the future, they certainly sure as hell ain't going to talk about it right now. They're certainly sure as hell not going to reveal it right now. They're going to play that one close to the vest. Is it possible he's done as Captain America? Absolutely, it's possible. He's had a long run as this character. He's played this character far more than 99.99999% of actors ever play any kind of a character. So it's absolutely possible he could be done. All I'm saying is, these headlines of Chris Evans officially done as Captain America are way premature. Way premature, not accurate, and really are being highly exaggerated. And I get it. I mean, if all you saw was that one paragraph and you had no other information, I could understand why you'd be writing a headline, Chris Evans done. I would get it. But when you take a breath and take a step back and you look at all the information we have in front of us, you realize, oh, this really isn't a thing at this point. We really don't know if he's coming back or not. So anyway, that's just the one thing that I would say about that. So maybe you guys have some more things you want to add into that a little bit later, and we can certainly get to that a little bit later. All right, guys, with that out of the way, I want to take a bunch of your live comments and questions. But, before I do, speaking of Avengers Infinity War, you guys know that for the last little while, I have been sponsored lately by this great app. And you guys know I turn down a lot of sponsorships, either because I don't actually use the product or I don't think it's useful to the film fan community. But I did take on this sponsor with the Stardust app. Stardust is a great app for film fans because what it does is it lets you record a quick 3 to 30 second reaction and review to a TV show, a trailer, or a movie and put it up online. Now, what also you can do with that is, if you want to see your video show up on my show, just record your review, hit next, tag me on the screen, just at John Campea, and then maybe you will see your reaction video show up on my show. And I just had some technical issues earlier in the week, so I was going to get to this earlier, but I didn't. But you guys sent into me, using the Stardust app, a whole ton of your reactions to the Avengers Infinity War trailer. And I meant to play this earlier this week, but I had some technical issues. But I just want to share with you right now some of these great reactions that you guys have sent in to me about that Avengers Infinity War trailer. Here, check this out.
Okay. Saw the new Infinity War trailer. A lot of action in there. A lot of action. Looks amazing. I don't know how y'all gonna beat Thanos. How y'all gonna do it? What y'all gonna do? Huh? Can't beat him. Y'all gonna lose all your heavy hitters, and he gonna win. Can't wait to see it. Team Thanos.
I'm like excited for the fucking day. Oh my god, people, this trailer is so epic in so many portions. Thanos got the helmet. Doctor Strange, I didn't even think about him could be dying in this movie. Tony looks like he's gonna die. Captain America, I believe he's gonna die. This is gonna be on epic proportion that we have never seen before. Oh my god, guys, I'm so excited. We have to go see this movie. April 26th, that Thursday. I'll be there. Woo-hoo!
This new one coming out, we have a chance to be like awed and inspired and motivated and pumped because we get to see all these new heroes from the new phases come together with the old one.
Well, folks, I actually bought tickets to go see Infinity War all weekend long, except for Thursday. I gotta work. I'm gonna see the movie 3 times. The only time I done this was to go see the Black Panther. Wait a minute. And the Dark Knight.
Looks amazing. I like all the new scenery that's on there, all the action on there. Man, this is an amazing trailer. Can't wait till the movie comes out.
Yo, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for the epicness of Infinity War. That shit looks... Oh my god, that shit is so fucking awesome. I can't wait to see that shit. I got my tickets ready. Dude.
Infinity War trailer dropped. Oh my god, was it amazing. The way that we all saw them working together, it didn't feel convoluted. It just felt so natural and fluid, and what we saw in the trailer was amazing.
I just watched the freaking second trailer to Infinity War. It's freaking incredible. Oh my goodness. The interaction between Tony Stark and Star-Lord is freaking incredible. The visionary style of Thanos, the whole storyline. Oh my freaking goodness, this trailer is freaking amazing. I don't think it's better than the first trailer, but this trailer, it got me so ready for Avengers.
And there we go. Some of the reactions that you guys have sent in to me about Avengers Infinity War. I'm going to keep playing some guys. So guys, listen, if you see a TV show that's really impressed you, a trailer you want to react to, a movie you just saw, record your reaction. Make sure you tag me on it on Stardust, and maybe you'll see it pop up. And by the way, I got a little assignment for you guys. Pacific Rim Uprising opens today. It's in theaters. I've seen it. I'm going to put up my review a little bit later today. But if you guys see it this weekend, I want you guys to record your quick reaction to it. Make sure you tag me at John Campea at it, and I'm going to visit some of those reactions that you guys did as well once we get back here on Monday. Okay, with all that out of the way, I got about 10 minutes here to take some live questions. Let's get right to it. And the first live question today comes to us from Ben Rayner, who writes, thoughts on the Krypton pilot? I liked it. Didn't watch it yet. I got it all queued up on my CW app. I will watch, or on my Hulu app, I should say. I will watch it, but I haven't watched it yet, so I can't give any thoughts on it. Chris Martin writes, just heard a few days ago, Disney is doing a live-action Lady and the Tramp. Never actually seen the original. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, watch the original. And if you'd watched the John Campea Show, you would have found out about it, that we were doing it there. I believe it's going to be for Disney's... I think this is the first motion picture that the Disney streaming service has announced that is going to be specifically for the new Disney streaming service. That's where you're going to find this new live-action Lady and the Tramp, which is really interesting. But yeah, dude, watch the original. It's so great. Watch the original. Alexander Helmer watching Michael leave the office is too sad. No kidding, man. No kidding. Him leaving the office was, I mean, you were happy for the character because he was leaving for something good, but... yeah, man, it broke my heart watching him. I remember watching that episode and being so sad that he was leaving. Chris Martin writes, have you seen Matilda starring Mara Wilson and Danny DeVito? Yes, such a great film. I didn't think it was a great film myself personally, but I enjoyed it. It's a really cute little film, and certainly Mara Wilson was great. Danny DeVito was really good in it, and I thought it was a really solid little film. Let's see. Chris Martin writes again, so many great films coming out this year. Can't wait to see Mowgli. Oh, me too, man. Andy Serkis is directing that one. Incredibles 2, so many to list. I will say I would have preferred an Obi-Wan film instead of Solo. I mean, me too. I honestly, I think I probably would have, but I don't want to get too far ahead of things. And you guys know I have never asked for a Solo movie. And I've always been of the thing like, I wish they did something else. I will say this, though. I'm hearing some pretty good things. I haven't seen anything myself. I cannot attest to anything myself personally, but I'm hearing some pretty good things at this point. All right, next one comes to us from Antonio Montserrat, who writes, Mr. John, do you think we could get a Captain Planet movie? I don't want him popping up only at the end of the film. Hopefully Venom won't as well. Well, remember they did that, what was it, Don Cheadle? That did those Saturday Night Live Captain Planet movies. But then there was actual serious real talk about a Captain Planet movie. I remember doing some stories about it like a couple of years ago. I don't know whatever happened to that. So I don't know if that's still something that's on the back burner or if it's something that they scrapped altogether. And I agree with you. Hopefully they don't just pull Venom coming out at the very end of that movie. That would be a tragic mistake. Chris writes, favorite horror film, mine's still The Hand from 1981, starring Michael Caine, directed by Oliver Stone. It's so cheesy. I heard in an interview once that Michael Caine said he only did it to pay a mortgage on his house. A lot of people forget, man, actors are labor. That's their job. It's what they do. So they do it to pay the bills. That's why I always laugh whenever I hear somebody say, oh, that actor only took the job, for the paycheck. Guess what? Newsflash. They all take the jobs for the paycheck. All right? They all take the jobs for the paycheck. There are very, very few exceptions, but it's like what Michael Douglas told me once. Michael Douglas said, I am an actor for hire. That is my profession. I act. If an employer comes to me and would like me to apply my trade and act and pay me to act, I am an actor for hire. Immortal words by Michael Douglas. My favorite horror film of all time is still American Werewolf in London. Not to be confused with American Werewolf in Paris. You guys have heard me say that before. My second all-time favorite horror film is probably The Descent. The first one, not the second one, but I love The Descent so much. Which is really great because the guy who directed The Descent, if I'm not mistaken, is also directing the new Hellboy reboot. So yet another reason why I'm pretty excited for the Hellboy reboot. All right, a couple more here. Jordan Benjamin writes, in a perfect nerd world, I'd have the X-Men join the Avengers in battling Thanos. Damn rights deal. Infinity War, hurry up. I can't wait. Have a good weekend, John. I'll be honest with you, Jordan, I wouldn't want that. That would just be too big of a mess. You'd have like 80 characters in there, half of which would never get more than one line, so then what's the point of having them there, really? So I'll be honest with you, to me, that's just a little too convoluted, in my opinion. I mean, it's already borderline convoluted with the amount of sheer characters they have in this movie. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy because whoever your favorite character is, the odds are they're not going to get a lot of screen time or a lot of attention or a lot of dialogue in this movie just because there's so many of them. There's just so many characters. But the movie can still be awesome. I just think adding another 15 characters like X-Men in there, I just think would be a little bit too much. But that's just my thought. James B. writes, have a great day. Well, thank you so much, James. I'm already having a great day. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Micah T. writes, if Chris Evans does actually end up leaving the MCU, would you rather them recast Steve Rogers, have someone else just pick up the mantle, or just kill him? I think my first choice would be recasting, to be honest with you. I mean, again, if Chris Evans leaves, and I don't think he will necessarily. I don't think he will necessarily. But I think recast, because here's the thing. It's always driven me crazy. One of the things I do not like in comic books is the idea of the mantle, right? Steve Rogers is Captain America. But John, in the comics, I don't care. Steve Rogers is Captain America. So you can have somebody else come along and call themselves Captain America, but they're not Captain America. Steve Rogers is Captain America. So I remember I first started thinking that way a while ago when with Wayne Gretzky. Because with Wayne Gretzky, there was this thing where somebody else, there was this debate about this new kid coming up and whether they should call the kid the Great One now. It's like, well, that's fine, but you can call somebody else Wayne Gretzky, but they're not actually Wayne Gretzky. Only Wayne Gretzky is Wayne Gretzky. Greatest hockey player, maybe the greatest professional athlete of all time. You can get somebody else comes along that can call themselves Captain America, but they're not Captain America. Steve Rogers is Captain America. I don't care what other character puts on the costume and says, I'm Captain America now. That's great. You can call yourself that, but you ain't Captain America. Captain America is Steve Rogers. So that's the way it is to me. So that's why, for me personally, I could see them doing it another way. I could see them going the comic book route and having Falcon become Captain America, or having Bucky becoming Captain America, although you've got a lot of baggage with the Bucky character in the movie universe to make him the new Captain America. But still, you could do that. If it was up to me, I would rather see them just recast, either just kill him or recast him is kind of the way I would go with it. Jordan Benjamin writes, picture this. Hulk jumps to attack Thanos. Rocket is sat on Hulk's shoulder, pulls out a vibranium weapon to unleash hell. Groot watches on in amazement. Oh, man. First of all, I love Rocket. So seeing Rocket do anything badass is good. I even loved when I would read in the comics when he would like this diminutive little character and do something really badass. I would love it. Seeing Rocket and Groot, because we're used to seeing Rocket on Groot's shoulder, but Groot's smaller right now. So have Groot, a bigger Groot, and Rocket both on Hulk's shoulders diving in, that would be kind of badass. I don't think we're going to get it, but that would be badass indeed. Okay, last question of the day. And guys, if you have questions sent in that I didn't get to live, don't worry. I'm going to do a companion video a little bit later this afternoon, and your questions will be on that companion video this afternoon. All right, Dalton Burdett writes, It's amazing how even bad films can impact cinema in a positive way forever. The prequels, for example, were a huge contribution to the start of the digital age. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, screened digitally in 4 theaters. Yes, I mean, that is very, very true. It was the prequels, and as much as I don't like the prequels, the way they pushed forward visual effects in a way they had never been pushed forward before, in a way that they really dragged the film industry into the digital age, is something that we hadn't seen before. And yes, it's a great observation, Dalton, that even some bad films had an incredible positive impact on the film industry as a whole in different ways. And you're right, they can do that. And really, any film coming out can do that. Whether it's a great film, an okay film, even a bad film sometimes, a film can bring different things to the table that maybe change the industry forever. And that's a terrific observation. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, guys, a little bit later, we got the companion video. I got my Pacific Rim video coming up in a couple of hours. My Pacific Rim Uprising review, not so good. Don't forget, a little bit later this afternoon is our daily open mic Monday through Friday. That'll be at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you come back and join me for that then. Anyway, guys, listen, if you enjoy my videos, do me a favor. Head on over to www.patreon.com/John Campea. Find out what it means to be a Patreon supporter, how being a Patreon supporter keeps this show on the air, and also what benefits there are to being a Patreon supporter, like some behind-the-scenes videos, audio-only podcasts, which are available only to my Patreon supporters, an exclusive Facebook group. Make sure you go and check that out as well. And guys, while you're at it, follow me on Twitter. Just simply follow me at John Campea. All right, guys, that'll do it for me for today. My name's John Campea. Thanks so much for joining me, and until my next video, bye-bye.